Dear students, welcome to our class on climate change, UNEP, IPCC's Climate Change 2007. As I said in my earlier classes, the IPCC is the Nobel Peace Prize Laureate 2007. So, as the students, you should know what are its findings. I am covering this under the schools of view for the reason that 14 years elapsed since the report of IPCC has come, and scientists and the administrators have been watching what exactly are the adaptation, mitigation or avoidance options with reference to 2007 findings. Now, as far as the UNEP initial 8 statements are concerned, statement number 1 was on present day. The conclusion was the climate is changing. Okay, the present day. The first thing is the present day. Okay, what is the present day statement? The climate is changing. Okay, climate is changing. Now, from 2 to up to 8, that means 7 statements, 7 statements are on, it is on the future. The future. What is the future? Future with reference to climate change. What is going to happen with reference to temperature? What is going to happen with reference to disasters? What is going to happen with reference to precipitation, intensity, duration, etc. So like that, 7 statements have covered. Now, there are altogether 16 statements in the 2007 report in a very brief form, of which 8 we have completed, 9, 10 and 11. These come under the actions. The third one is the actions. Actions. Actions are covered in small statements. So in the actions, the first statement, an example of Australia, an example of pre-Columbian settlement areas in the Southern America, in Nepal, the glacier example, in Canada, one example, in Europe, particularly in Amsterdam, the Rotterdam example. 5 examples as far as the actions are concerned. Actions are usually very expensive. Long-term benefits are kept in view. So now, here in this class, we try to understand 3 actions. Statement number 9, 10 and 11. Statement number 9, I repeat it twice. Statement 9, please listen very carefully. If you have time, kindly write it also. Key statement 9. Some adaptation to current and future climate. Some adaptation to current and future climate. Please write if you have time. Okay. Some adaptation to current and future climate change is occurring now, but on a limited basis. Please write this one here. I am going to impress upon you, as I said a half minute back, an example of Australia, where the Perth water system in the Southern America, in Amsterdam, in Canada, in Nepal. Some 5 examples in a very, very brief form. Now, see, try to understand that throughout history, human societies have adapted to climate variability throughout the human history. Okay, human beings tried to adapt to climate variability. Examples of current adaptation to present day climate change include water. That's what 5 examples I told. Some examples I am going to give in this class. Examples of adaptation to anticipated future change are less common and generally address the adaptations generally address 2 things as far as this report is concerned. Okay, IPCC report. Number 1, risks which have higher probabilities of occurring. This is natural. Risks that have higher probabilities of occurrence are addressed first as far as adaptation is concerned. The second one is natural. It is a high cost infrastructure project with long design lifetimes. Long design lifetime, high cost. Okay, at least 50 to 100 years it has to give some adaptation. Now, simple. The first example is, as I said, as far as adaptation is concerned, in Southern America, there is one system of rainfall cropping. Rainfall cropping. This is an interesting term. Rainfall cropping. What exactly does it mean? We sow the seed, we get the harvest. So like that. Otherwise, what we call it as the rainwater cropping also. In other words, rainwater cropping also. Simple. Civilizations in Southern America, particularly pre-Columbian, states, it is mentioned here as an example. So, surface and underground channels, they dig, the rainwater is crop, like they treat the rainwater like crop, and surface channels and underground channels, they divert the water, and in the cold days the water gets solidified, becomes ice, and in the warm days it gets one advantage there. Again, whenever the problem is rainfall, there is a huge gap in the rainwater availability. To overcome that one, what they do is they harvest. There are two important words here: infiltration and storage. So water gets infiltrated in the channels, rock channels. This is one example. The second example I would like to share with you as far as adaptation is concerned, the water supply in the Perth. It is mentioned in the IPCC 2007 report. See, if you take 100 years water availability for the Perth, so it is decreasing. What the government did as an adaptation strategy, they constructed 2 dams. Number one. Second thing, from ground, groundwater exploitation or use of groundwater, and the third one is desalinization of water that is available, already available. So through these 3 mechanisms, that is number 1, construction of dam, number 2, groundwater, number 3, desalinization. Through these adaptations for the climate change, so in the IPCC report that was mentioned. Similarly, as far as Nepal is concerned, show Rolpa Risk Reduction project. So Rolpa Risk Reduction project, I was fortunate to have a visit to this area, Nepal, few times. So in the year around late 90s, a problem was identified that so Rolpa Risk Reduction project was designed with the help of international organization funding. Actually, there was a glacier shrinkage noticed in this area, and 0.23 square kilometer area had gone up to 0.65 square kilometer area in just 40 years. From 1957 to 1997, 40 years, in just 40 years, 0.23 square kilometers to 1.65 square kilometer area, the glaciers have shrunk. So what is the problem? That once the glaciers have shrunk, the approximately 19 villages are expected to get some sort of weather disaster due to glacier shrinkage. So therefore, what they did was by 2002, with 3.2 million US dollars, 3.2 billion US dollars, they have built. So Rolpa GLOF, we call it as the Glacier Lake Outburst Flood. Glacier Lake Outburst Flood. So they have constructed an excellent structure, which is certainly, in addition to that, early warning system was also provided to 19 villages in the downstream. Another example is, as I said, in Amsterdam, particularly Rotterdam. In Rotterdam, Maeslantkering is the world's longest moving structure on the earth. Why it was built? It was built to protect the city of Rotterdam and the surrounding towns and agriculture areas against the flooding from sea. Completed in 1997. This is it is designed to close when a storm surge of 3 meters above the normal sea level is anticipated in Rotterdam. 3 meters. So under present day conditions, this should be once in every 10 years. This is happening in once in 10 years. It is anticipated in the report that in 50 years time, due to sea level rise, this rate of closure is expected to increase to once in 5 years. So keeping this particular sea level rise in Rotterdam, of course the largest moving structure on the earth was built. Now another thing is, as far as Canada is concerned, Confederation Bridge, a 13 kilometers long Confederation Bridge was constructed, which was connecting Prince Edward Island with eastern Canada, to the mainland. Now it was completed again in 1997. It is designed to withstand a 1 meter rise in sea level during its 100-year design lifetime. 100-year design lifetime. So these are the small examples I would like to share with you. Now on the key statement 9, key statement 10 and 11, I just would like to enlighten you. Some further warming due to past green gas emissions together with associated climate changes is unavoidable. As I said in the first key statement, climate change is occurring. This is the Nobel Peace Prize laureate 2007 IPCC. Present day climate is changing now. So as I said several times, temperature is certainly increasing. However successful we are at reducing emissions of greenhouse gases, some further level of global temperature increase is inevitable. With already available greenhouse gases, we call it as slow response of seas. Beloved students, please understand this word. Slow response of oceans otherwise. So it is occurring. So for already whatever the greenhouse gases are available, the response of seas would add in future. This is anticipated as far as IPCC is concerned. So in that case, what we are going to see is mitigation activities alone are insufficient. It will be necessary to adapt to the changes in climate which will result from global warming. This is as far as key statement 10 is concerned. I would like to read for your academic benefit. Adaptation, please write if your time permits. Adaptation will be necessary. Adaptation will be necessary to address impacts resulting from the warming which is already unavoidable due to past emissions. I read once again. Adaptation will be necessary to address impacts resulting from the warming which is already unavoidable due to past emissions. In this class, key statement 11, I would like to say in half minute, a wide array of adaptation options is available. Wide array of adaptations are available, but more extensive adaptation is required. Say for example, there are 4 stages that were identified by IPCC. Number 1 stage is purely technological. For example, sea defenses, behavioral changes, of course, altered food and recreational options, managerial, altered farm practices, and the 4th one, policy, for example, planning regulations. I read once again for your academic benefit. Purely technological, behavioral changes, managerial changes, and policy, that means regulations. Through these, a wide array of options are available. So more extensive adaptation is required. Through these 4 options is the key statement 11. Thanking you for your patient hearing.